to the Pennsylvania Rock Show Flashback. Step into the DeLorean, fire up the flux capacitor, and head back in time. Pennsylvania Rock Show Flashback.
Welcome to Pennsylvania Rock Show Flashback, episode number 8, take 3,000. No. If you are tuning in for the first time, you will notice I have this new mic sitting here with the Maono logo. It's Maono PD200W. It is a wireless mic. It's wireless. It's XLR. It's USB-C. I'm currently running it wirelessly. I am now affiliated with Maono. So if you head to their website, Maono.com, and use the coupon code BUILDTHESCENE, that'll get you a discount on any purchases over $35. With that out of the way, with me today is Jozey from Jozey and the Corruption. This literally is the third take because I'm using new stuff and I'm in a new location. I'm outside. That never happens. So I haven't asked Jozey the same question yet in all these takes. So
good.
All right, Jozey. So we're gonna flash back to the song City Outlaw, and tell the listeners and viewers a little bit about how that was recorded and where it was recorded and the equipment that was used. All that stuff.
Sure. So we recorded it right here at Custom Audio Mutation Studio in Akron, Ohio. With Kern Murphy from Venom Inc., twisting the dials. He's a world-class guitar player, so I like working with him. He brings the best of my playing out. He also gets us the best tone. I've recorded at other places with other bands, but working with Kern, for me, has been the best. He's done the last 4 projects I've recorded here with him. I like coming in here because he's got about 20 different amps we can choose from. We don't use impulses. We go with different amps and different mics, and we'd run lefts and rights and different guitars on each side, and we end up coming up with something magical. And he knows my playing, and he knows my style, and he knows our songs, and he knows what he wants to hear out of us. And so the first album, when we did Sin City Outlaw, I believe we were going mostly for like a Marshall kind of tone. He builds these awesome, he had a Plexi that I know that we used that he built, and it's one of my favorite amps in the world. It's one of his favorite amps in the world. It's got that 70s Marshall tone that everybody dies for. And then we used an 850M2 that he built, and we kind of doubled that up. And I used Les Pauls on that, and I used this Les Paul that he had, and I fell in love with it. And I doubled it with one of my Les Pauls at the time, but his sounded so much better that I ended up buying it off of him, and it's my main guitar now. I used that on both albums, but on the first album, it was Les Pauls left and right, and then I used an Eddie Van Halen Frankenstein that he had for my leads. There was a couple tellies that we mixed into some stuff, and I did all the guitars on the first album, and then we found a guy to play guitar shortly after we finished the recording of the album, but he didn't really play on the first album at all. And then so we just used a combination of Les Pauls and Marshalls for everything. And I was really happy with the tone that we developed for that. The first album's a little more raw and a little more punky, so the tone really fit with that.
So tell us a little bit about the song Sin City Outlaw. What's it about?
So that was the first song that I wrote for the Corruption. And at the time we had a completely different lineup that lineup never even played a show together. The drummer pulled a dick move and bailed on us about a month before we had our first show scheduled. And we ended up getting a different drummer to come in and play. But we wrote that song, and it was one of the first ones. And I went back and forth with it. I was kind of inspired. There was it's weird, but there was a Billy Joel song that he wrote called and it was about Billy the Kid, and I can't even remember the title of it now, but he was just telling a story throughout it about Billy the Kid, and I was kind of like, okay, I'm going to tell a story, and I'm going to do the same kind of thing, and I ended up creating this character who is now kind of significant to the band. We've written a second song about this character, the City Outlaw, and I've written a third and a fourth song, and eventually we're going to put out an album where all those songs are on the album together and tell the whole story of the Sin City Outlaw, but they're coming out individually on different albums right now, just kind of telling a story through different albums. But he's just a guy who kind of got hemmed up in running with this crew, gang, whatever you want to call it, club. And he goes through the process of being proud that he's doing this stuff to not liking what he's doing to, in the third song, he's going to decide that he's moving on. And then fourth and fifth, he'll kind of come back from all this and change his life. But in the first one, he's into it. He's proud that he's out there banging heads and kind of a hitman for this club that he runs with. And so it's got that aggressive, hey, I'm proud of who I am. It used to be our show opener. Now it's our show closer. It's got a drive and a feel. And I feel like the Sin City Outlaw would have had that same kind of drive and feel. And that's what Curran pulled out of us with the tones and the feel that he got for us on it. I love that song. I love that album. My daughter, who's 8 years old, just walks around the house singing Sin City Outlaw all the time. She loves it. It's just got a good drive and a good amount of energy.
All right, so let's take a break and listen to Sin City Outlaw, and we will be right back. We're back on episode 8 of the Pennsylvania Rock Show Flashback with Jozey from Jozey and the Corruption. We just heard Sin City Outlaw, which is our flashback to 2021. And now we're going to talk a little bit about Grip, which was, if I remember correctly, recorded in 2024.
Yes. Yep.
And tell us a little bit about... Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. No, that's okay. We recorded that here at Custom Audio also. Custom Audio Mutation, with Curran on the second album, which is called Being Number 2 Sucks. That album, we went a little more modern. I used the Plexi still on one side, but I also used, for the leads and stuff like that, I used a Mezza Barba amp that was amazing. We're sitting there and he goes, hey, let's have some fun when we do leads. And he pulls out this $5,000 amp that there's only maybe 15, 20 of them in the United States. And I'm like, heck yeah. And I used that Les Paul again on one side with the Plexi. And then I used this Paul Reed Smith that he has that is just a wicked guitar, man. And one of the best guitars I've ever played. I used that. On the other side, I think we used a Soldano for the rhythm tracks, and then I used the Frankenstein again with the Mezza Barba. I also used the Les Paul and the Paul Reed for some of the leads through the Mezza Barba. We mixed up some stuff just depending on the songs. For Grip, I know that I used the Frankenstein because there's a whammy or a whammy at the beginning of it, like a dive and stuff like that. And so I know that I used the Floyd Rose. And Grip has a more modern, smooth tone. It's got a big radio kind of hook to the chorus, big vocals. We added some keyboards on the chorus. So it's a little less punky, a little less driving, but it's got a Southern rock kind of hook at the beginning of it. It's a guitar riff. And the funny thing is, we talked about when I wrote Sin City. Well, the third song that I wrote with that same lineup was Grip. And it's gone through a process because of different people playing in the band. We changed it It didn't have any kind of a chorus at first. And the bass player that was in the band originally came up with an idea for the chorus chords, and I took that and wrote a melody with it where it was more singing, and it became this big hooky chorus. And Curran pulled that out of us even more, and then added that little keyboard that you hear underneath it, just a pad, kind of fills it in, gives it a more modern sound, but it's still got, you mentioned Southern rock, and it's got a definite Southern rock and commercial rock kind of feel to it. So it was different. And Curran noticed that and just kind of smoothed out the sound. And, we layered some vocals, and it, when we play it live, it's always a hit. It's one of everybody's favorite songs. And it's the one that got the most.
When someone takes a listen to the Jozey and the Corruption catalog, the genre, it's hard to place you in a genre. I would say rock, but
yeah,
like there's punk rock, there's driving rock, there's just pure rock fury to still a line from a local band.
Yeah.
How would you describe it?
So I think that, we are I call us, we are outlaw punk and roll. We have a punk and we have a rock. We have a little bit of that Southern feel to it, a little bit of, our stories are about guys living on the edge of life, because I was living that way forever. Until I recently got sober, I was, living the outlaw kind of punk and roll life. And that's what our songs are about. And even though I'm sober now, our songs are still being written about that, because that's what I know, And I wrote a new song for the new album, the third album. It's going to be called Three Chords in a Cloud of Rust. And it's called Red Line. And it's basically what my whole life has been about, like living at the red line, like living right at the edge. And I would say that our music has, if you took Kiss and you took Brides of Destruction, who was a Nikki Sixx side project, and you took LA Guns and Motley Crue, mixed them all up, and maybe added a piece of Skid Row in there as far as guitar riffs go, I think that you'd kind of start finding out what Jozey and the Corruption is at the heart or at the root.
Very cool. So, Jozey, what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and listen to Grip. I'm going to thank you for hanging out with me on episode 8. Real quick, throw out the website for your band and for your podcast.
Okay, yeah, the band's website is thecorruptionakron.com. You can find us streaming everywhere, and you can get the links to everything right there through that. And then, I have a podcast called Louder Than My Demons. Season 2 just started on Friday, and you can find that at Louder, helping me out with that. And you can follow us anywhere, any of the social medias at LTMD Podcast. And you can check us out. The podcast is doing pretty good. So I appreciate that, Bill.
Okay, so here comes Grip.